like this. This is a mini workshop on your vision for this year. So let me go into gallery mode for a moment. I'm going to lead you through. So what I want you to do is I want you to get something to write with, because I'm going to lead you through these prompts. You will not have time to answer all the prompts right now, but I want you to be able to write them down. I'm not going to commit to making a worksheet for you today because there's too much on the plate today. So I don't want to promise that and not deliver. So I want you to write down the prompts, and then you can go back, and I'll give you a few minutes to like fill in stuff. This is, I have done a version of this for many, many years, but this originally, I need to give credit to Michael Bernard Beckwith from Agape and to Sarah Cannell, who does Thought Leader Academy, both of whom I've experienced versions of this with them. So this is not sort of original to me. A lot of people do this kind of work. This is not news. But it's a really cool process. So here's what we're doing. We know that Mrs. Eddy says, your decisions will master you whichever direction they take. So if we are looking ahead to, and I know the year is just an artificial archetype, so it's okay. It's an artificial sort of parameter on something, but it does give us an opportunity. So we'll just take that for what it is. It gives us the opportunity to, oh wait, I need to stop doing something. Hang on. I need to remove that there. Now, hopefully you can all see each other. I'm going to put it in speaker mode so that whenever you guys are speaking, you're on there. Okay. She says, what our decisions will master us whichever direction they take. So it's on us to decide what we are going to experience in our life. Your decisions will master you. So many times Jesus said, go thy way and be it as thou hast believed. I'm putting it in biblical language and I'm not quoting him exactly, but that's the general idea. As you believe, so be it done unto you. So it's on us to choose. Are we going to have the most epic year of our life? The one that is the best year ever? Or are we going to settle? And this is where I get to light fires under all of us. Mrs. Eddy also says, desire is prayer. So when we talk about what do you want? A lot of people don't know, like, what do you want your life to be? A lot of people don't know. They kind of go, I don't know. And they're walking through life responding to what's in front of them, not proactively going forward. There is, if you don't have the expectation of the best year of your life coming into this time, that today is the best day, if we don't have that, we are selling ourselves short. And we're selling ourselves short because God, where progress is the law, is offering that to us every day. Every day. Not good days, bad days, but ever progressing. And that doesn't necessarily mean in human stuff. It can mean in understanding. It can mean in growth, spirit word. It can mean in releasing. Who am I being? I'm being more of who God sees me as. So who would like to, and we're going to do a little bit of sharing, but I want to get through all the prompts, so I don't want to, well, let me just ask you, I'm going to go into gallery mode for a second. Is there anyone here who's on like a major time constraint? Can we take our time with this and just kind of be fluid and talk amongst ourselves? Or would you like me to do this like within a half an hour? Stuart's laughing. Yeah, your epic year in a half an hour, right here.
I only have until 8:30.
Okay. All right. So let me give you the prompts between now and 8:30. And then we can, those of us who can stay on for a little bit, I can stay on for a little bit and we can all just kind of talk about it and see what comes up for you. So there's a wonderful quote by Michelangelo. The greatest danger is not that we will set goals too high and not achieve them. It is that we will set them too low and do. So it's not that we'll set our goals too high and not achieve them. It's that we'll set our goals too low and do that. So you get to set your goals so wildly higher than you could possibly imagine doing it. And there is evidence in quantum physics, in the scientific world, since we are, do you guys mind if I just speak plainly about like being human for a minute? It's like, I know we're all divine ideas, but this is a little mini workshop on let's get real and let's utilize the tools that we have in our understanding of divine science to demonstrate it in the way that we can right here, right now. It's not like knowing all this lofty stuff and then going and doing our life. It's like, let's put it all together. So quantum physics, intention, you know, there was that movie years ago, The Secret, which kind of morphed it into a weird new age place, which I'm not in alignment with. But the actuality of what Mrs. Eddy says, desire is prayer, and no loss can occur from trusting God with our desires, that they may be molded and exalted before they take form in words and in deeds. There's a promise there. What you desire, that deep desire, that calling on your life, that thing, that yearning in your heart, it is being molded and exalted before it takes form in words and in deeds. If you doubt it, if you deny it, you're denying it being in words and in deeds. If you hold on to the vision of your life, Mrs. Eddy talks about holding the perfect model before the gaze. She has it in all different ways in her writings, and it is it is a quantum physics law. It's called entanglement. If you feel, and there's a lot about sort of the getting out of the head and into the heart. So let's take a moment. I'm chattering because there's so much to share. Okay, let's take a moment and just like plant yourself, do a couple of belly breaths, like really, like if you need to, like put your hand on your belly and just breathe deeply and just release. I need to, because I'm so excited to share this with you. And just take a couple of deep breaths and get into that place. They call it getting into state, getting into that place where we are open to the divine. We are open to God, being at one with God. We are letting go of limitation. We are expanding our sense of ourself into the allness that is God, and we are at one with that. Any ideas shared here that are aligned with you, take on. Any ideas shared here that are not in alignment with you, just leave them. There's no requirement for you to agree with everything, to take on everything. You get to pick what serves you. You get to have what is aligned with your sense of what's right. Another deep breath. And just when you breathe out all the limitation, breathe out all of the doubt and all of the fear, and be open to that place where everything is possible. There are no limits of money, no limits of time, no limits of age, or anything that would impose itself on eternal life. You are an infinite idea, forever expressed, open to infinite possibility of expression, infinite possibility of manifestation, infinite possibility of demonstration. You feel the goodness of God above, beneath, around, within, without. You have insight and foresight and hindsight all at once. You can never be denied the good that is yours, that is already present, and you can never be blind to it or be tempted to believe in less than. And so it is. Okay, so that is the stage. And now, what we most need is the prayer of fervent desire for growth in grace. What is your desire? So I want you, the first prompt for you, what is the highest vision of my life for this year? What is the highest vision of my life for this year? And go big. If it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not big enough. If it feels like that's doable, it's not big enough. Like Michelangelo said, it's not that we set our goals too high and not do them. It's that we set our goals too low. Set your intention so high. So I'm going to give you a moment. Write down the prompt at least. What is the highest vision for my life this year? And if you don't like the word life, you can substitute in, what is the highest vision for my abundance this year? Or for my career this year? Or for my relationships this year? Or for my health this year? Write down the prompt that works for you, that gets you to stretch. I want you to stretch. So I'll stop talking. I'm going to do this with you again. What is the highest vision for my blank this year? Go big. Go big. Don't settle. I'm lighting that little Bunsen burner under you.
So it's not that we just fix the stuff that is broken in our lives.
We will get to a place where we're releasing. This is, what do you want? This is desire. Desire is prayer. So what do I want is not a frivolous question. What am I drawn towards having, being? It's more being. It's be, release, do, have, right? So be, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? It's more accessible a lot of times to say, what do I want to have? Because then you ask yourself, well, who do I need to be? Who is the person for whom that is natural? And that gets you into a state of being. Because it's always about who am I? Who would you have me be? What would you have me know? What would you have me see? Then what would you have me do? But start with, what do I want? And it can be stuff. It can be ways of being. It can be stuff. It can be qualities. It can be health. So what do you want? Go for the positive rather than I want to get rid of. This is all, what am I for, not what am I against? Okay, that's really important, actually. This is an affirmative statement, not a I want to get rid of stuff. You're going to get to that in a little bit. Just a couple more minutes. Another way of approaching it is, what do you want your life to look like this year? That's another kind of way into it. If you have like a lot of people do mind movies, what is that picture you have that is the perfect picture of your life? And then describe what's in the picture. That's another way in. For those of you who can stay after 8:30, we're going to go into breakout rooms and share. So we don't really have time to do that before people have to go. Okay. The next question is, and then you can go through different versions of that by plugging in elements that you want to focus on. Like what is the highest vision for my health, for my career, for my, activity, for my relationships, creativity, whatever. Okay. So you can do another version of that. The next question And this is when you hold that vision of your life in perfect order, in lots of detail, the more detailed, the better, by the way. And when you're holding that vision, how does it make you feel? And this is a quantum physics thing. How it makes you feel in your heart is what creates that entanglement where it is inevitable that that is in your life, because what is in your heart becomes what's in your experience. It becomes inevitable. There's nothing that can stop that. And you've experienced that. So when there's something that's held in your heart of hearts, you do see it in your life, whether that's good or bad, which is why claiming what's good and claiming infinite possibility is all important, because your decisions will master you, whichever direction they take. Okay, so the next prompt is, what must I release to receive the highest vision of my life? What must I release to have room for that vision in my heart? What must I release? Bad habits, things that ways of thinking that are not serving, that are just repetition of mortal thought, limitation. What must I release to receive the highest vision of my life?
Is this number 3?
Well, number 2 is kind of if you want to plug in specific aspects of your vision of your life, right?
Okay.
The highest vision of my life is, the highest vision of my health is, the second one is putting in specific ones if you want to get specific. The third one is, what must I release to receive the highest vision of my life? So at least write down the prompts. Another way of asking is, what would get in the way of that vision coming into reality? And it might come up in the form of something that sounds personal, and that gives you an opportunity, because we know this science, that gives you an opportunity to say, personal sense cannot claim any part of me. And so I recognize personal sense showing up as what it is. And I know that that is not me. So that limiting thought that comes in the form of personal sense, not me, releasing that is your claiming your separation from personal sense, from false ego. Okay, what must I release to receive the highest vision of my life? All right, I'm going to keep going so that people who need to leave can have all the prompts. Okay, so this is a really important section, and this is where you'd probably take a bit of time to kind of go through it. What must I embrace, embody, who must I become? Like, who do I need to be to experience the fulfillment of my vision? What must I become? Who would I need to be? What do I need to embrace to experience the fulfillment of my vision? Another way into this is, describe the person who has the life that I envision. Who are they? Describe who they are. What's their way of being? How do they show up? How do they demonstrate? What qualities are they expressing? What must I embrace, embody, become to experience the fulfillment of my vision this year? I need to be more patient. I need to be more brave. I need to express more courage. I need to be more decisive and stronger in my, you get the idea. I'm going to share a part of a line from David White, the poet, who a lot of times has just these one-liners that really zing. Anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. Anyone or anything that does not bring you alive is too small for you. So if there's anything in your life, any concept you're holding of yourself that doesn't bring you more into that place of infinite possibility, it's too small. We get to release anything that is limiting us because we know it's not the reality of God's vision of us. We want to hold for us the same vision that God has for us. And we get to know what that is by doing exercises like this. So anything that does not bring you more alive, according to David White, anything or anyone is too small for us. Yes. Michelangelo, David White. Okay. I'm in good company with that. And whenever someone else is expressing something that you think you have a desire for in your life, the phrase that you use is, I am one with that. There's no jealousy. There's no competition. There's no they, them and us. If you see the expression of good that you in someone else or outside of you that you don't feel you embody yet, claim it. I am one with that. If you see it, you can be it. If you be it, you can see it. Works both ways. So if you see it, then you have an awareness of it and you can claim it as yours because you're already seeing it. So you must be it. Okay. Is there anything else that is coming up for you in this process that feels like a barrier? Write down any resistance that's coming up in you, any place in you. Just make a note of any place in you that's arguing against infinite possibility, infinite vision, the vision for your life. Anything that comes up that says, no, I can't. No, anything that is asking you to exclude yourself, make a note of it because that's something that you'll want to address because it's a false belief. It's not the truth of your being. Anything like little stuff, write those down. Okay, and I'm going to just go through the prompts so you have them and then we can workshop it. There's now that you've kind of done the prep work, now you take a moment and you say, what I really want is, and you just let it flow. You can even do it like on a big piece of paper and just write out like mind map, like just write out whatever thought comes to you. What I really want is, okay, you're going to have to come back to that because there are people who have to leave. All right, the next one is, and this is when you kind of condense it into a statement. Write your epic vision in the present tense in a paragraph. And I'll explain why. The present tense is what you're saying is it's already here. You're writing it out as though it already exists. I have a New York Times bestselling book. The audiobook was a blast to write. This community is growing exponentially and people are feeling healed and served by the love in this community because they're feeling embraced for being who they are. And there's no exclusion. There's healing here, present tense. So write your epic vision, your vision for your life in present tense in little paragraph form. Okay. The next section, and I only have a couple minutes to give you all the pieces for those of you who leave. When you look at that paragraph, then mortal mind, gremlins. I know I'm not supposed to say monkey mind because we like monkeys. So I'm not going to call it monkey mind anymore. I've been told not to. I've been asked not to. So mortal mind, gremlins will come rushing in. As soon as you hold a high vision, guaranteed you're going to get the argument. So the obstacles that come up in thought, write them down. This is like, do 2 sides of the page, left, right. Actually, I would even do 3 columns. Write down all the obstacles and just let it go. Just let it rip. Like, don't hold back. Whatever the obstacles are, I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough time. I haven't done it. Whatever it comes up as, write it down. Get it out. Make a list. The middle column is, what is the solution to that? Like, I don't have enough time. The solution is I have all the time I need. I have all the time I need, and my schedule is so organized that I even found more time. And then the third column, this is kind of the additional thing, is putting it in the past tense. And it's a little bit like the second column, but it's putting it in the past tense. I'm so grateful that I was able to demonstrate dominion over my schedule and find all the time I needed to do what I needed to do. Because I'm not limited by time, because time is an illusion. Like it's going to that nth degree and putting it in the past tense as though it's already healed. So that obstacle that you started with already been healed. Okay. And the last couple of things, well, this is kind of there are all sorts of ways to overcome the obstacle piece of it that comes up. We have the best tool ever, divine science, but there are all sorts of tools. Being still and meditation and listening for God's voice, to me, like really getting, if you're in your head, take a moment, take a deep breath, I am loved, I am safe, God is here, all is well. And listen for the answer, because the answer is always available. Listen for, what does God have in store for you? If you're ever in doubt, or if you ever feel like this isn't yours, pause, take a breath, tune into God, and listen for God's answer. Don't listen to your head. Don't listen to mortal mind. Tune into your heart and listen for what God has in store for you. And go with that, because that's going to be a winning idea. Okay, so there are things called like segment intending, creating a vision board, doing like a win streak where you claim your wins. I'm so like kind of like gratitude, go on a win streak. Like I I had this win and this win and this win. And then you claim it. And I see this win and this win and this win coming. So it's like it's called a win streak. Creating a mind movie, which is basically just seeing what Mrs. Eddy talks about, holding the vision before your gaze, holding the perfect model in front of you. So if you don't have a vision that you're holding of your life in front of you, a lot of people do it in Christian Science. A lot of people do it with like perfect God, perfect man. Okay, I know what perfect man is, but they don't do it for them individually. Like we're missing the mark. Do it for you. What is the vision? What's the vision you're holding of you in your life? Because you are the expression of God. So it's not just this generic man out there, God's man, it's you. The highest version of you, the highest sense of you, the perfect idea that is you. Because you are a perfect idea. So what is that? Do you have a vision of that? Do you have a mind movie of that? And do you see yourself in your perfect life? Living in the house of your dreams, in the location of your dreams, doing the work of your dreams, in the relationship of your dreams, in what looks like perfect health, perfect activity, perfect day. What is that for you? Don't hold back. So mind movie. Future pole is essentially claiming what is in the future as what is now. It's saying, now is the accepted time. Now is the day of salvation. I don't need to wait for this to happen. I get to claim it now because there is only now. So it is to our benefit to claim it as our reality right here, right now. I am healed because that's the absolute truth. We are healed. We are perfect right here, right now. And the only thing that would make us think we're not is that separation. You know, and people in other circles do other kinds of things to counter what they call the subconscious mind, which we know is just the temptation to believe in a mind separate from God. There is no subconscious. There's only one mind. So any sense of less than, we don't have to buy into. Okay, and I've gone over. So whoever needed to leave, did they already leave? Did they go already? They might have already left. Okay. So those of you who are still here, you guys need to go. There's a worksheet that I have that is like 30-day momentum motivator. And basically it has, the top part of it is that little paragraph, write your epic vision, and you can keep revising it as you understand more, right? Keep revising it. And then underneath is the actions I took today towards being that, the signs from the universe that the vision is happening. So sort of noticing what's coming in. If I knew I would succeed, what would I do next? If I knew that this vision absolutely guaranteed to come to reality, what would my next step be? And then actions I will take in the next day or two to continue on this journey. So we can, since you guys are staying, we can go over that. Eleanor, go ahead. You guys can just unmute yourselves. I just wanted to get through it so that we all got through it. So now it's like open season. So do you want to go into breakout rooms and just talk, just share briefly, like what is one thing? In fact, I'm going to, Eleanor, you go, and then I'm going to put you in breakout rooms and do this because it'll actually raise the energy. And Eleanor, go. I can't hear you, honey. What's going on? Do I not have my sound on? I don't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay, so you mentioned 3 columns. The first one was obstacles. The second was solutions. What was the identity of the third column?
The third column is stating that the problem was healed in the past. So it's like putting it in the past as already healed.
Ooh, okay.
So it's not like this is, I want to do this so that I can overcome this obstacle. It's saying I already overcame the obstacle. It's done. And this is what I did to do it. It's like claiming the healing now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys just unmute. I don't want it to be so formal. And I just wanted to get through that stuff, so I had to go fast. All right. So, yes, Stuart.
I'm just unmuting.
Oh,
I'm
you're
being
just
obedient.
If I see the unmute happen, that's good. Like, oh, somebody else talk. All right. I would love to put you in breakout rooms, just like a couple of you, just for a couple of minutes, and go in and share one piece of your epic vision. Just share it with one other person, and having your vision be witnessed, stating it and having it be witnessed is very powerful. So be brave. Let's see if I can figure this out. Hang on. All right. I'm going to put 2 of you in a room, and we're just going to go. And if there's one left over, I'll work with you. And just accept the room. Okay. You see it on your screen and it says join room, go ahead and hit join, and you'll be whisked into a room. We can do it together if you want. Venus, you're frozen. I don't know if you went into a room. Up there you are. Cool. Okay, Peggy, you and I are in the room together. What is one piece of your vision? What's one piece of your epic year? Can you unmute? You can just hold down the space bar and talk while you're holding down the space bar if you want. Here, let me do this. Can you click on that? I'm asking you to unmute. No, I may not have control of it because I have other things. Oh, there you go.
Can you
Now-
unmute?
Now I can hear you.
How about that?
So give me a statement. My vision is.
Maybe just harmony in life.
Okay. What I invite you to do is to be really specific. Like get really specific. My vision, my epic vision is that we have 1,000 members in Morning Metaphys. That we have 1,000 people gathering every day. Like that feels overwhelmingly big and huge, and I don't even know. It's like, I don't know how, but life will fill in the details. So think as big as you can imagine.
But what if that isn't good for me? What if that is not what I want?
Well, what is what you want? What do you want?
Just harmony, peace.
Okay. So I envision the most harmonious life I've ever had. Awesome. I mean, you get to have it be whatever you want it to be. It gets to be your vision, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I'm going to broadcast into. Okay, just another minute. If you haven't switched, definitely switch and give the other person an opportunity. And then I'll call you back in just a minute. Okay, so I was just talking into all the breakout rooms. All right, so harmony, is there anything else that you want in your life?
Not really at the moment. I can't think of anything.
connection to a loving friendship, interaction with somebody who is like-minded, who would inspire you.
It seems strange, but I don't feel the need for that.
Okay. Somebody who cooks all your meals so they're prepared and you don't have to worry about food.
Oh, well.
Right? I mean, it could be anything. Someone who Stuart asked for help. Okay. So I'm gonna go join that room. I'll be right back. Hi there. Did all of you guys end up in one? Really?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
What
We
the
have no
hell?
we have 11 people, I think.
I have no idea. I said 2 people per room. That's so weird. Anyway, it's obviously my failing of breakout rooms. So did you all have a turn?
No.
Working
No,
on it.
you're working on it. Okay.
Because you were bleeding over into ours.
And we could hear other groups.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh. So you guys,
Maybe you only have 2 groups.
did you accept the breakout room on your screen? You did.
Yes.
Well, let
Yep.
me just end this because I clearly didn't. So let me close all the rooms. I'll pull everybody back. We'll all get in a big room. Leave the breakout room. You're all streaming back in. There was a fail. I guess a bunch of people ended up in one room. I don't know if that happened to you guys. There was a bit of a technical issue. So I get to laugh about that. So anyone want to share? Oh, Laurel, you're muted, honey.
I see my abundance. I live my abundance. I travel to the places where my quilts are being displayed.
Nice. Woohoo. Okay, let's we need to like celebrate the wins. And I would invite you to get even more specific, just saying.
Okay.
Like, where are you displaying them? What awards have you won? Like what is you were displaying at, I don't know if there's like a quilt sort of Academy Award kind of place, and you've won awards and your quilt went for the highest price the world has ever seen for a quilt. You know, it's like the value of what you're creating is being acknowledged and seen.
Okay.
Right? So be very specific. Be very specific. Okay.
Okay.
Who else would like to share? Nancy just turned her mic off. I like that. When I said who would like to share, she was unmuted. She muted. It's like, okay, now you get to go.
We already shared with our small group.
Okay, so now share in the big group.
I will live this next year with absolutely no anxiety.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
good.
cheer people on. Yes. Yes. Awesome.
I will stop worrying about personal sense being a factor.
Yes. Personal sense is not a factor in my life.
No. And I don't need to be rich and famous and on a stage full of personal sense, right?
You tell me. Like, this is
Well,
your vision.
I
Like-
need to understand what personal sense is. It's not, to me, it's a big fat personality. It's a big, not fat, but I mean, big personality.
Slim personality.
Well, I'm fat too, but.
So when I hear that, I also think about Jesus demonstrated the magnitude of his human life, demonstrated divine life. So he didn't play small. So I don't
No.
think it's about the bigness of expression, because the bigness of expression, a lot of kinds, can be the demonstration of letting go of limitation of shyness or letting go of limitation of personal sense. Like, if I thought this was me getting in front of a whole group of people, and I like, if I stop for a moment, I go, I can feel the nerves coming up in me. It's like, if I think of this as, I can't even talk, right? That's what personal sense gives you. When I'm out of personal sense, it's like, I'm here for you. It's not it's like, get me out of the way. Like, that's,
So you're
it doesn't
toast,
mean
huh, Lisa?
small. it doesn't mean smallness necessarily.
It's a concept that I'm working on, because I take that to mean that I'm toast if I let God be all. That's really, really
Well,
critical.
do I look like toast?
Well, no.
I mean, we did used to call it ideas on toast. So,
Yeah, I know.
You're very
so
awry.
ideas on personal sense being toast. Good. Stuart, what did you say?
You were very rye bread.
Funny guy. Funny guy.
Oh, gosh. Well, it's a very important thing to understand who we are absolutely and our humanhood. If you look that word up in the Christian Science Concord, humanhood, it really is a big one to me. I looked it up yesterday and it's really, really helped me.
Oh, cool.
Humanhood. Yeah,
Okay.
look it up. It's
Awesome.
awesome.
Faye, you unmuted. Go ahead.
I was impressed with Inez's
Enos.
idea. She said she
Enos.
wanted to be a blessing. Enos, is that how you
Enos.
say it? Enos, thank you.
Think 2 E's. Enos.
Enos said she wanted to be a blessing, and I said I am a healer. I want to be a healer.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to just hold up a mirror for a second. When you said I'm a healer, and then you said I want to be a healer, two very different statements.
I get that.
Right? I want to be a healer puts it out in front. So that's why when we write that paragraph, it's in the present tense. I am a healer. That's actually a really perfect example so that I can kind of hone in on that part of it. When you're writing that short, sort of succinct paragraph of your vision and you're putting it in the present tense, you're claiming it as reality now. So definitely that paragraph is, I am a healer. I am a spiritually minded healer. I am a spiritual, whatever. Not I want to be, I am. Because what follows I am, we are inviting into our life.
Thank you.
I believe that's a quote from Joel Osteen. Actually, I want to give credit where credit is due.
It's awesome.
What follows I am, you are inviting into your life. Because I am that I am.
Right.
And then how would she do the past tense?
So that's the obstacles one.
Yes.
So it's like, I am a healer and I've overcome the belief that I wasn't good enough to be a healer. I now understand that I am a healer and my sense of myself is so powerful that idea of, not being able to be a healer is completely gone from my life.
Okay, good.
By reflection.
Yeah, by reflection, by your oneness.
That's important to me.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you, Sue Crevitt. Ginny.
Don't give me the stage. Somebody pull me off with the hook.
Okay. Ginny, you're unmuted. I want to call on people that I see unmuted. I want to give you the stage.
I didn't realize that, but I think somebody pointed out to me that mine's not specific enough, but this is what I wrote. I said, peace of mind in knowing that God is in control of everything. Well, and then I added a couple, and then the understanding that there is no death, and for family members' lives to be harmonious, loving, and peaceful.
It's not surprising. I love all of it, but it's not surprising to me that the vision for your life focuses on others' well-being. And I would invite you to really get selfish here. And to really dive and in a good way, really understand what is in your heart and claim it. So what does that look like? Like you said beautiful qualities. What was the first one?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Okay. The vision for my life is that my peace of mind is so complete that I never need to, for a moment, feel afraid or hesitant that my peace of mind settles everything that I see and feel in my life. Like, get really specific about it. Let's not sit in generalities. Like, why does peace of mind feel like a desire for you? What is it that's coming up in your life that makes you yearn for peace of mind? And then claim that thing that is really countering what's coming up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Absolutely.
I just don't know how to answer that.
Okay, well, you have plenty of time.
Okay. Well, I did have a selfish one.
Yeah.
I said unlimited activity.
There you go.
There you go, Kathy.
I
'Cause I
see,
feel like sometimes I haven't.
I
been
see my
able-
life filled with unlimited activity. And you can even name what that activity is.
Yeah.
This year, I see myself skiing. This year, I want to go. I mean, you can start with, I want to go skiing. I want to go skydiving. I want to go windsurfing. I want whatever.
Okay.
I want to
Okay.
skate with my grandchildren. I want to teach my grandchildren to ski. I want to go ride bikes around the Lake of Geneva. I don't even know if they probably don't have. Enos, you can tell me. They don't have,
Okay.
they don't have a.
They
there's no path
do.
around it. There's a path all the way around. I don't know if there is.
Yeah.
All the way around. Oh, very cool.
Lake Havasu. I don't know. I was there once and they had a path and roller skates and stuff.
Okay. I see Stuart's hand. Talk to the hand.
I want everybody to come to my house sit on the deck and enjoy life together.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I envision a morning metaphys retreat where we all get together and get to actually hug each other
Yay.
How
We're
human
all
of
for
you.
that.
in some beautiful clime. I don't know.
Look at that.
Like some,
You just have to bring
San
food.
Juan
I'm
Island
finished
is
cooking.
fine.
Antigua.
is San Juan Island a beautiful enough climb? In the summer it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. We
If
can all
we
go
can
kayaking.
ocean kayak.
We can
If
go,
we can
we can go
kayak.
kayaking, we can go whale watching, we can go watch the eagles.
Yeah,
We're coming in June anyway.
I know, I hope we're in the house by June. I don't know if we will be, but I'll see you. We'll get to hug. I'm yay.
Unlimited possibilities.
Unlimited
You will be in
possibility. I will be in the house.
the house.
We don't have to be in your house. We can be at a big house that we all rent that's big enough
Yeah.
for all of us.
Well,
to stay
if
there.
we're
An
in
Airbnb or whatever.
the house, then this one becomes rentable, which is great. And it's got 3 bedrooms. So when I do little mini retreats, which is coming, this will be where people stay, and then you come over to the other house and we do our day, and then you have time to yourselves and like bonding, and I get to go to sleep. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right, who else wants to share? Anyone want to share their vision? Or any piece of it? Or have any question? I'm gonna stop talking and let you guys just talk as though I'm not here.
I loved in our breakout group, someone shared that they wanted to be more daring. So this is everybody's opportunity to dare and put it out there.
Just know that if you are prompted to share anything, any little thing, it may be for someone else. It may not be for you. Like the answer is in the room. That's a
Oh, you
phrase
mean
that
it's
one of
not all
my-
about me? Oh.
No, it's
shoot.
not.
Oh,
Sue
God.
Kravitz. It's not all about me either. The only way to get me to stop talking is for you guys to talk. So you better start.
Okay, I have something. Who do I need to be to fulfill my vision? And I first said trust in God, and I know that sounds simplistic, but I've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks that it's almost any statement is this one connection with God. I mean, I could live in that statement is what I'm finding myself. And so then as I as we've been talking, I kind of changed from just trust in God to one with God. And so to me, that's where I want to be. That's where I am. That's where everything comes from, is being one with God.
Watch me not talk so someone else will jump in. I love that, Pam. Someone else. What is that prompt in you guys?
Do you know how hard it is for me to shut up? I mean, you don't know.
I do, because I suffer from the same affliction, Sue Crevitt.
I know it. Why?
You can just use the mute button. It helps.
Oh, I don't know where that is.
When I hear it, it makes me feel one with God.
Okay.
And I appreciate that statement, that last statement. I wrote it down because there is a difference between trusting and being with God, and that's really helpful. Thank you.
It's so hard for the five senses to admit something that these so-called senses don't believe. I mean, we are already who we are. We're God's ideas, but the five senses argue with that. So that seems to be the battle. But we are metaphysicians, so we are above the physical. We are capable of rising above the physical all the time, and that's
Claim that it's easy. I mean, one of the things, I love what you're saying, but also claim that it's easy. Don't claim that it's hard.
Oh, darn, I knew you'd catch me. Darn.
It's catching mortal mind. It's not catching you.
I know. You're just a stuck record, Lisa.
Claim that it's easy. Like the easy button. I love that Staples easy button, the big red easy.
Oh, yeah.
Like envision that. This life gets to be easy. There gets to be a sense of ease. Let's put it that way, because it feels a little bit less like lazy. It's like there gets to be a sense of ease. Not always, I mean, yes, it can be challenging, but there gets to be a sense of ease about it, in that we're trusting it is working out. It is inevitable that the vision is coming into appearance. If we hold the vision, we must see it.
So it's the ultimate in positive thinking, as they might say in human psychology, but we know this is not positive thinking.
Yeah, no, it's well beyond that.
Way beyond that. My son, when he was in elementary school.
Hang
I
on
gotta
one
tell you.
second, because Pam just wanted to chime in on that one piece. I didn't want to get too far from it.
To make it easy, I keep going back to somewhere. There was a lesson that taught that God guaranteed me abundance in every part of my life. And I just have latched onto that. And so for easy, like if I'm somehow making it hard, it's like, no, I've been promised abundance. God said I have abundance in my relationship and my health and life, everything. And then I add in, not the trickle down theory. I don't want trickle. I want abundance. And so that's how I make it easy.
Yeah, think fire hose.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ocean.
Fire hose. Yeah.
Will we get a copy of this part today?
I'm not going to promise a worksheet today. I will do one. I have a deadline coming up, which I need to pay attention to. And
what about just the recording of what?
Oh, the recording. Yeah, absolutely. I'll send the recording.
Good.
The one thing
'Cause
that
I
I wanted to
couldn't write
repeat,
fast
so you have it, is that there's this page that, I don't know if you can see, it has like 4 columns at the bottom. So
yeah.
and this is like the 30-day momentum motivator thing. So it's basically doing a page a day. So it's staying in the rhythm of this every day and kind of rewriting the vision, because it's always going to be, as we start seeing it, we get to expand it. right? It gets to keep expanding. It doesn't have to be a static thing. So then the first column is the actions I took today. The next column is signs from the universe that the vision is happening. That, you know, signs that I'm seeing the vision come into my awareness. Like what pieces of it am I seeing? What is being demonstrated, manifested? If I knew I would succeed, what would I do next? If I knew, and another way to say it is, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would my next step be? If I know I'm going to succeed, what is my next step? You can always plug in God for I there. If I know God is going to be expressed fully, what is my next step? Like we get to take the steps. I'm hearing chopping. Someone's chopping. I hope it's good, whatever it is. And then the fourth column is actions I will take in the next day or the next week. So it comes down to who am I being? And what does that way of being prompt me to act on? If I'm being more confident, I'm going to take a step in a direction that probably looks different than if I'm holding in thought less confidence. If I know that my vision, like if I say my vision is to have 1,000 members in Morning Metaphys, and we're this huge community of people, that feels like beyond, like humanly speaking, I don't even know what that. But if I claim that as a reality, there are 1,000 people in Morning Metaphys. What action would I take today if that were the reality right now? Probably would look different than the action I take today if there are 50 members.
You ought to ask Eckhart Tolle.
6 degrees of separation. I guess I could like narrow that down to 1 degree.
Call him up. He probably has a
Give him a
billion
call.
people.
Yeah, I mean, there's this divine science is available for everyone on the planet. Millions of unprejudiced minds, simple seekers for truth, weary wanderers athirst in the desert, are waiting and watching for rest and drink. So we are giving the cup of cold water in Christ's name. That's what this is. This is saying there is a tool that is available for everyone that we're demonstrating, and we're working, you know, it's like we don't have to be so precious about it to say, oh, I need to be doing it perfectly before I share it. No. Pam just had one little phrase of the way she was working on something that opened something up for Shirley. Sue shared something earlier that opened up something for someone else. Laurel said something that opened, like Ginny said, when we express the little humble place where we are, it turns the diamond for someone else to go, oh, I never thought of it that way. And it opens it up so more can embrace the reality. That's why we're here. Don't get me started. I will start talking. Okay, so does everybody have the 4 columns? Actions I took today, signs that my vision is coming into reality, that is that I'm seeing it more. If I knew I was going to succeed, what would I do next? And the action I will take in the next week. Like, so the last column is really committing to an action with a deadline. So when we put it on the calendar, studies have shown in sort of high performance habits kind of thing, when you put it on the calendar, it is like 80% more likely that you're going to get it done. So it's being in committed action that is what brings the shift into the reality of our experience. We're not sitting back, go back to that Phyllis Stoddard poem, We're not sitting back and waiting for the waters to part. You're taking the step and the water is parting. Anybody have thoughts or ideas or questions or anything?
Yeah, I'm finding that the third column is huge. I simplified it by just saying, it's like, well, when everything's happening the way I've asked and created, then I'll go golfing, because I don't get to golf anymore. But if I was trying to take it to this other level, my greatest goal is to be constantly walking with God. And so then I would be guided. So how would I know what would be the next step? Knowing that I'm always walking with God, I'm having trouble visioning what's the next step.
Okay, so here's where that kind of two rivers are coming together. One is that absolute vision, and one is the practical reality of day to day. And they're like coming together. So keep it simple. If you want to go golfing more, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to golf. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule tea time.
Okay.
If I see myself golfing every day, every week, whatever, be specific. I see myself golfing at least once a week. I will golf once a week this year. Well, one of the steps, if I know I can't fail, if I know I'm going to succeed at that vision, I better make a tea time. I'm teeing off on Saturday at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Right. So bring it down, like put boots on it and bring it down to earth. It's like we have all these, and this is where the study of Christian Science a lot of times gets in our way, because we get very intellectual and lofty about it instead of making it real and practical. So I love what you said about, I'm going to be guided by intuition to know when and how. So put it on the calendar and then keep tuning into your intuition if it needs to adjust, if it needs to be earlier or later. So you're never discounting being guided, but open the door to be guided. If you say, I don't know what to do, I'm not doing anything until I'm shown, take the step and the waters part. Claim it, and then if it needs to adjust, you'll know.
Okay.
Sometimes for people, going to the doctor is the thing that gets the healing, because they know when they go there, that is so not who they are. And then they have their healing. But they were sitting in that place of, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to, because I like shame, guilt, all this cultural stuff. Like if you're prompted to do, like, that's just kind of a Christian Science thing. But if you're prompted to get help, call a practitioner. I should be able to demonstrate this myself. I don't want to call a practitioner. I'm supposed to be able to. It's like, get out of the pile of should and be kind. Anyway, it's like anything you guys say, the mouth just goes. So you talk.
Are you sending that worksheet after you can?
When I can, yes. I will
When you can.
put it together in terms that make sense to this community and not do the whole, versions from other places. I'll put
No,
it,
the one with the 4 columns.
yeah, that'll be in there.
Okay.
I'll give you a version that gives you the prompts and you'll see.
Okay. Great.
Bye-bye.
I just want to share briefly about one of the steps that you're asking us to take is to consider what must I release to have room for this vision. And I just wanted to share about our burning bowl experience last weekend, because it was so cool. It didn't turn out to be a burning bowl ceremony. It was a dissolving paper ceremony. There's so many different ways, I guess, of doing it. You can get different kinds of paper. And so what we did is we wrote on a piece of paper what we wanted to release. And then we all, filed up to this water that they had in the front there. And we put our little piece of paper in there. It was so amazing. What a great vision for the year, because I put it in so I could read what I had said.
Oh, wow.
And I just watched it dissolve and go to nothing. And, you know, the minister was talking about how, okay, you're releasing it. It's become nothing again, because that's what it was. It was nothing. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, it
So-
was really cool. So this week we're going to go, hopefully, at their service on Sunday. It's going to be welcoming in a vision for the year. So it ties into what you're doing here. And I don't know what concrete symbol it's a white rock of some kind, but I don't know exactly what we do. Anyway, but it was such an amazing thing so I'm sure you can buy that paper, whatever, you could search online or whatever for dissolving paper. And yeah, feels like regular paper. You put it in the water and then you see it. You see whatever it is you're wanting to release go away and become nothing. It's like,
You know,
wow.
you remember the thing when we were kids, when we would write in invisible ink? I think it was like with lemon juice or something, and then you would put it somewhere, and then it would appear on the page. You could do the reverse. You could write write the things that you want, right, and then have them appear as they grow into your awareness. I love that. That's I know I shared this in the sort of roundtables, the gatherings last week. But our family tradition has been to go to the beach on New Year's Day every year, and we write on, and we do a piece of paper for each thing we want to release. And we dig a hole in the sand and burn them. So we do kind of a burning thing. And then we take the things that we want and we write them and attach them to something. And it can be a rock, it can be a shell, it can whatever, and throw them into the ocean so that they keep coming back. So that sense of this is something that is ongoing and is always regenerating and always growing in our experience. That's just kind of a symbolic way of having it keep coming into our life.
Real quick, the dissolving paper reminds me of my laundry sheets that I buy. The laundry sheets are just perfect. You don't have excess garbage around, the plastic to put the laundry soap, but the sheets just literally, when water hits it, it just totally dissolves.
So is it like soap? It's like laundry soap that's a sheet?
Yeah. The first
I
time
didn't even know they made that.
Yeah, it's perfect. The first time I bought it, I wrote wash on it really big so everyone in the house would know that's not a dryer sheet. but it's perfect. And also I've thought about how it's dissolving, but it's also the water's washing
and cleaning.
Yeah,
purifying. So you could write them you could write the things you want to release on those sheets.
I might just do that
in the wash. and let it.
I'm gonna do that today. Thank you.
A fun way.
Where do you get those detergent sheets, Karen?
I buy them all on Grove. That's an online thing, but also at my local natural store. They're becoming more popular. Okay. So I'm that they're going to be out everywhere. But
so it's like a sustainable kind of.
Yeah, it's just like in a little cardboard box, just like a dryer sheet box. So there's less, waste.
Cool. I like that. And it's like it's pre-portioned, which is good.
And you can rip it in half if you have a smaller.
Oh, I love
So they're called detergent sheets. Is that how I would search for it? Okay.
You can probably get them on Amazon too, I would imagine.
Probably.
This is just a wealth of information here in this community. Detergent sheets, I never knew they existed. Learn something new every day. Anya, do you have anything you want to share? I like seeing you there. Anya's over in Europe.
I wrote down that I want to be a healer, and just took this, that I am a healer and that I can overcome the belief that I'm not good enough. That's just perfect.
So that last column is I have overcome the belief that I'm not good enough. Like put it in the past tense. I have already.
I overcame. I have overcome.
I overcame. Yeah, I overcame the belief that I wasn't good enough, and I am a healer. Nice. Because God is always good enough. Not about us. God's already good enough. So we are all expressions of healing. I did it when I was reading yesterday morning. This is a vulnerable moment. I didn't know I was going to share this. I was reading the lesson. I'm always like spread eagled after running. So I'm like spread eagled on the floor. And you know what's interesting? This is again a human moment, me just being me in the group. This is not. There's something about physically being like open. Like when we throw our arms out and we open up. I mean, I have my legs open like a dancer. There's something about that place of kind of physically being vulnerable. I don't know what it is because it's like I get pulled into that and it's just different. Anyway, I was in that place. So that was like an aside, but I was in that place and all of a sudden I just like burst into tears. It was like it came up. I like sobbed for like 5 seconds and then it was gone. It was like there was some release that just happened and I was like, okay. And it was that place of, just utter. And I know you all feel this because you wouldn't be here if you didn't. It's like, I just have such a desire to be God's servant, to just serve God, to serve love, to be the embodiment of the Christ. Anyway, didn't mean to bring the energy down, but I just like sobbed for a moment. And then it was just interesting how things sort of come through you. That release.
Did you know what you were sobbing about?
There wasn't anything. It was just like a deep yearning. That's what came through because I wasn't thinking about anything before it happened, it wasn't like I was dwelling on a thing and I was sad about it. And it was like all of a sudden and it was that it put me in that place of just deep, or I felt in that place of deep, just that deep yearning of just giving it all over to, and probably it was prompted by the lesson, of just giving all for Christ. And that sounds like a very kind of Christian way of wording it, but anyway.
I just wondered because I find myself just sobbing sometimes and I hate it.
Oh, why?
Because
Really?
I feel weak.
So this was what was coming through when I was saying that. I want to make sure you have this equation. It's not, I want to have stuff. It's who am I to be? So it's be, release limiting beliefs, do, have. That's the equation. So have is last. That's the manifestation, that's the equation. But so in the end, you're not trying to have stuff. That expression of what's real is a natural extension of the process of being. So when you see a lot of people with abundance, it's because who they're being, abundance is natural to that state of being. You see people with a lot of physical activity or a lot of friends or a lot of what they have is the result of who they're being. It's not they have this so then they can be this. So it's be, release, do, have. Okay. I just want to make sure you had that.
Okay.
Yeah, Jenny, about the crying thing, I don't think you need to say, oh, I don't want to do that anymore, because I see crying as a release. And so sometimes if I'm letting things just really build up inside and bottle up and I'm not sleeping, I'll get up and I'll come into our front room and I'll cry. I'll just let it out. I'll just, and then, I usually read something or pray and then I go back to bed and I sleep and I'm fine the next day. It's just a form of release. I don't think it's anything we need to be embarrassed about.
No,
and hold in. I think that's really bad.
Take the judgment off of it. Like there's no right or wrong, good or bad. Like just remove the judgment from it. You don't have to feel like it's bad and no. Release is a really good thing. There was a I forget who I was talking to yesterday. Anyway, the way when you hold a beach ball underwater, it takes a ton of effort. Yeah, Laurel and I were talking. It's like it's like, that's kind of like before you cry, like you're holding the beach ball under. It's like, oh, it's like it takes so much. And then you release it. And what happens? It automatically floats to the top. There's no effort to make it float. That's like us. There's no effort for us to float on divine love. We don't have to like hold down all the, like, just let it just be. And if release, if crying, if letting go of the constraints of the way mortal mind is seeing it looks like crying, okay, cool. It's ice cubes melting. It's releasing the mortal sense. Great. Bring it on. See me with puffy eyes and a red nose. Like, you see me, I cry in front of you guys. Like, bring it on. Welcome it in. Not a bad thing.
We don't see the puffy eyes and the red nose. You said that. I never see it.
I don't
So
either.
don't worry about it.
I don't care. It's like, clearly I don't care because I do it in front of you. So. All right. Anyone else? I don't want to cut this off, but I also want to be mindful of sort of having some version of it's time to move on in our day.
You know, your story about your needing to know that your son was alive at a certain point. I had a sense of that today where it was like, okay, but that's not you being in your Christ place. That's mortal mind torturing you. Is that true?
Good question. I want to share something amazing. So I don't even know if I know this question. So let me pause because the share I will remember, but the question, so my wanting to know where my son is a lesser version of my knowing that my son, that God's child is perfect and fine, right? So that human wanting is a place of feeling like I'm missing something, where declaring the way I overcome a yearning about that is to just know that he's fine.
Right.
He's governed by God and he's hearing God's voice. And I did not know though. So here's me being completely honest with you guys. When I do the bomb, when I schedule the bombs, every now and then I don't listen through them always. Sometimes I do. I really am guided to which ones to choose. So that is a complete intuitive process for me. I listen, I look at, 3 years of stuff and I listen and I'm guided to something. I did not know that the video that I shared with you guys last Monday was the story about Kellum. Kellum is the name of the son. I did not know that was in there. I have a feeling that those of you in Morning Metaphys who heard the story, and I don't even remember which version of the story I shared, I have a feeling that this group of spiritually minded healers probably prayed a bit about that. It wouldn't surprise me. Guess who called Tuesday night?
Whoa.
So
Wow.
I just got chills too. Like, that's the power of this science. That's the power of prayer.
So when you talked about the crying, the release, and then
that happened that time too. Yeah.
This connection that just happened, it to me was like this, you release this other level of, that mind trying to
it was me getting out of the removing that last vestige of my trying to make it happen or do something or create an experience or help save whatever. It was taking me out of the equation. And I don't know if I shared in that bomb the quote from the author, the mom who wrote the book, who had 3 kids who were dealing with addiction. And two of them had gone on to, was that in that recording?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'll share that now because some of you have heard it and some of you haven't. So right around the time of a lot of struggle with Kellum, and I was doing a lot of praying, I ended up being in a group and hearing a mom share her story, who was an author, who had just written a book about her 3 addicted children, 2 of whom had gotten out of addiction, 1 who was still in it. And this one, or by the time she'd written the book, they were out of it. But she was telling the story of at the time when there was still 1 in it. He called her from the gutter, essentially, and was on his last legs and about to and he said, Mom, I need your help. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. I don't think I can, just don't hang up on me. And the phone cut out. And she heard, I'm getting chills. She heard, as long as he can get to you, he won't get to me. God talking.
Wow.
As long as he can get to you, he won't get to me. And she just went, okay, I'm in the way. I'm stepping back. And he had his healing. So that was a big, when I heard that story, it was like, oh. So that was a step in my process of letting go of control, letting go of guilt, letting go of shame, letting go of all the stuff, letting go of wanting, and just knowing. Anyway, so I think I don't think it's a coincidence that me sharing that bomb and not even knowing that that story was in there. So I didn't have anything on it. There was nothing in my thought about I'm sharing this so people didn't even know that story was in there. And then he calls Tuesday night. And I know he's safe and I know he's cared for and I know he's, and even bigger than that, he sounded more himself than I've heard him sound in years. And he talked about getting his life moving forward and going into a program that he knew would be supportive and resolve some issues that he's dealing with. And I hear myself say resolve some issues he's dealing with. He's not dealing with, I get to correct those. Anytime those statements come out of my mouth where I'm talking, I always I commit to going back and claiming the highest version of it so that I'm claiming the absolute. There's always that little place where we can clarify. Anyway. So I want to say thank you for those of you who had any thought or gave any level of, sent any prayers towards that. Thank you. Thank you for being, we get to be here and support each other. We get to support each other's walk. And I want this to be a safe place for us to say we're having a hard time, say we're struggling, to not be afraid. I know a lot of times if in a church experience, people aren't having those conversations because they don't want to look bad or something. I don't know. I go through the same thing. You want to be the perfect example of the person demonstrating the science. It's like, you know what? I'm not the perfect example. I screw up all the time, only all the time. And that's okay. Because I know my heart is pure. So I'm not going to judge myself about that. And I know you're not judging me. And I'm not judging you. It's like, we're here together to support each other, to pray, to uplift, to understand, to listen. Not that I don't do a lot of listening, but I'm working on that. Laurel's laughing. Pam's laughing. I'm glad you got Linda. Those of you who are in Choose to Be You know me well. Laugh. Go ahead, laugh. That's okay. I'm laughing with you. I know you're not laughing at me.
I just want to say one thing to you, Lisa. I really, I appreciate that you think, oh, well, some of us were praying about your son and that's why he called. you know what? We're working on a whole different level here with what happened, I think, because you were led to send us that bomb. To me, and I'm just going to say it this way, because I don't know how else to put it in terms of Christian Science, but that was put out there to the universe, and the universe answered you.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, I mean, that's clear to me. There is nothing personal about like, oh, you had people praying for you. No. Doesn't need that. There's that connection, that oneness of consciousness in the universe. And that's what was going on. It had nothing to do with person.
Absolutely.
all.
I completely agree with you. And this community is part of that. So the oneness of mind that is acknowledging there's a power way beyond personal sense, way beyond personal control. And we're all witnessing that. If your guys are you're just listening, it's like we're stating this is the reality, then we see the reality. So yeah, it's not necessarily you guys thinking something humanly, but it's the fact that is, it's like putting the intention out there. It's like claiming the intention that there is this release, that God is in control. There is nothing else going on. And then we see the evidence of it, like instantly. It's very cool. So yes, absolutely, I agree with you. Not personal sense at all. Look at the kitty. Betsy has a really beautiful big cat, Sebastian. Oh, Enos has you have a cat too, Enos, don't you? Here's your kitty. Who's the kitty? Oh.
I'm gonna go.
It's a dog. It's not a kitty. All right. So, and I think we should probably all wrap up, because I need to go too. Actually, I hope I'm not missing an appointment. I will check my calendar, but I didn't want to constrain. Any last thoughts for anyone before we go?
Oh, one quick thing. Thank you for attaching the Google document again for the community to share their email and other contact information. I just wanted to let everybody know that's still here. I added a column which was city, state / country, so that we can know what part of the world you live in. So that, like, if Nancy and I are going to visit that area, we could go, oh, well, let's be in touch with them and see if we can get together. So because an email and a phone number doesn't do that. It doesn't tie us to a particular spot in the universe.
Yeah,
so
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
yep.
Thank you.
And I mean, if we want to do address too, we can. If we want to send each other snail mail, we can do that. And I am looking into different platforms that will best serve the group, whether it's Facebook or Voxer or Mighty Networks or something that's just us, where we can share, and I want it to be easy. So I have a bit of resistance towards complicated systems. So I would like it to be easy and not be, because if you're in Facebook, raise your hand. Is pretty much everybody in Facebook on some level where it wouldn't be difficult to access a group? No, Enos isn't. Sue, you're not.
Nancy's on Facebook. I'm not.
Okay, but one of you is. Shirley, I think is. Joan, I don't know. Lori, probably. So that may be the easiest way to do a private group, so that you guys can post pictures and post videos and do, like, share with each other and have it be just us. I do have a little bit of a hesitation in that Facebook can control it ultimately. And so they could shut it down. It's not that they would, but there's the possibility of it being disconnected. So anyway, if you guys have thoughts about it, feel free to let me know, because I think it would be fun for all of us to have a space. I don't know if the new system that I'm going into I know it's going to have a membership area, but I don't know if we're able to share in there. If that's the case, that would be ideal. I just don't know if it has that. Not sure. Okay. Much love to all of you.
Same to you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Oh, no, not tomorrow. Today's Friday. See you Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Go do your vision sheets, and I'll If I don't do a formatted thing, I may like at least put in the questions or something. I'll see if I have time. Now that it's so late, I may not. All right. Love you. See you Monday.